Okay, so today I wanted to talk about just general offense and how a lot of people have problems with how For Honor's offense in the game works. Of course, you have the top players who cannot get enough offense because they're extremely good at defending themselves, and then you have a lot of people below that who cannot defend themselves very well, and then offense inputs are so easy to input that they get overwhelmed immediately. Like a a lower level player who just started can like overwhelm a mid-level player pretty easily with offense most of the time. Of course, it comes down to learning and your platform and all that, but that's why I just wanted to talk about it generally, how you could improve the offense feeling, because it does not feel good to, get deleted by Hitakiri, Raider and Griffin in one swift chain, on one string of mix-ups. And that's why originally Hitakiri, Raider and Griffin were nerfed, in my opinion. It was not because they were like overpowered or something. It was simply because it was not fun to fight them. It was completely like egregious to fight these characters. Just because inputting offense is very easy and defending is always hard. Now, I've been thinking a lot about how to fix that, and in my opinion you would have to input or increase some sort of mechanical skill component into the game to make the game more mechanically demanding, to make throwing out high-level offense moves that are extremely effective more mechanically demanding, basically. And Street Fighter 6 just unveiled a new mechanic, which is Guile's perfect sonic boom, basically. And I think something like that could be very beneficial to For Honor. So basically what happens in this clip is that Guile's fireball, which is a charge move, that means you have to hold back and then forward and then press one of the face buttons, one of your punch buttons or whatever, to output a fireball. He has two versions of that, which is a normal version where you hit the charge move in a regular time window, which is more lenient, and then it also has a perfect version, which is very hard to input, which is basically means you hit it at, I believe, is 1 second charge time, so exactly 1 second of charge. You'll have to learn the charge window very well to output perfect sonic booms consistently. And this kind of mechanic, it allows, your average player to learn how to throw out regular sonic booms, and then the player who plays this game every day can try to make his time worth it by learning how to throw out perfect sonic booms more often. And of course, the difference between a normal sonic boom and a perfect sonic boom is that a perfect sonic boom potentially allows you to get more damage with a follow-up, which you can also see in the video. So how would I relate that mechanic back to For Honor? It's pretty simple. If I were in charge, I would introduce something I would call perfect chaining, which would mean that every attack on every hero has an input window in For Honor, and that input window is like, it can be buffered, right? It can be buffered into, so when you do an attack, then you buffer your next attack by immediately, as soon as possible, inputting your attack, right? And this is what most players do because it's the most reliable and the quickest way to throw out attacks. And there's no penalty to it. So what I would do is, with introduction of perfect chaining, it would be that in the last 67 ms, that's milliseconds, of your input window for your next attack. If you input the move in that window, your attack will get a little flash and it'll deal like 4 more damage or something. Right? And of course, that only applies to chain attacks, first of all, right? Because we want to make chain attacks more engaging and more skillful. And with that also coincides, of course, a nerf to all chain attacks, which is like, I don't know, 2 damage or something. I'm not sure how much I would nerf the damage on chain attacks right now. We are due for a damage nerf right now anyways, though. So basically, yeah, the last, if you want to get a perfect chain, you would have to input your attack in the last 67 milliseconds of your possible input window. Always. So for reference, a 67 millisecond input window is the same input window you have to deflect incoming attacks from the side. Which is, as you all know, side deflects are pretty difficult. They are honestly not even that difficult. You can get them down relatively well, honestly. But with perfect chaining, I just want people, like, if you are mindful of your chaining, then you can potentially get more damage, right? If you always hit that last input window. And I want people to be mindful of their chaining like that in this game to get more damage. I think that it would be better, because it would, you know, if people watch the game and they constantly see people input a perfect chain, which would be signified by, I don't know, like a little flash or something. It does, not a big one, right? Just a little glow or something. Then they would see that, oh wow, this guy has really, like, gotten his character down over all his playtime. He really knows how to input his chains perfectly every time to get the maximum amount of damage. Right? And that would be hype. That would be pretty cool to see that, right? And yeah, that's pretty much how I would do that. And also, you know, if a player sees that he got killed by someone who constantly inputs perfect chains, right, which is difficult, then he'll not be as salty, because he'll understand that this guy has, like, actually mastered this pretty difficult mechanic on his character, because he played this character so much, right? I think all in all it would be a decent addition. And I can't so far see many downsides to it. Of course, the damage, I'm not sure about the damage numbers exactly. That would have to be tested and adjusted, of course. I'm just talking about how we could implement this mechanic into For Honor. But yeah, I think that would maybe alleviate a lot of the issues people have with offensive characters that, you know, currently just plague the experience for a lot of people. Not me personally, but I see a lot of people complain about Radar and Pirate and all that. And, you know, if the average brain dead player can't access his full damage anymore, that'll be good for you, right? And then you run into the absolute godlike player who inputs perfect chains all the time, and then you'll see, wow, he can do that, that's pretty cool. And that godlike perfect chains player will also play against other godlike perfect chains player, most likely. And then also, you'll also see that playing one character for a long time will pay off a lot more, because you'll master your chains over time and you'll be able to input your perfect chains all the time, compared to constantly switching characters, right? So being a main of a character does actually mean something. There probably won't be some guy who can pick up another character in 1 hour and play him to your level, which currently is the case pretty much. Like, you can pick up characters pretty damn easily in this game. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I think that currently offense in general could use some sort of general mechanical skill ceiling increase. And this way would be one of the best ways to do it, I think. Because it's just timing based. There is no need for complicated input or anything, it's just timing. And For Honor is all about timing, right? And you can still input your non-perfect chains easily. So yeah, there you go. That's about all I wanted to say. See you next time.